Coca-Cola, Chris Bumbalis, and welcome to the 1988 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. Your commentators for this match will be Steve Mackey and Jeanette Baker-Flynn. It's a men's round 13 match between Terry Maher from New South Wales, he's the 3rd seed, and the 5th seed, Ian Bradford from Victoria.
Ian Bradford, the author of a 246 game in the last round when he eliminated the defending champion Tom Curry. He'd love to do it again.
Starting in fine style, giving the ball a little bit of room and getting the desired strike. Nothing more demoralising in an opening game than the first shot. A nice rolling ball into the pocket, tickles the pins, and down it goes for a strike.
Terry Maher, 37 years of age, the 83 Australian Masters champion, 3 New South Wales Grand Prix titles in 84, 85, 3 times in the New South Wales Rockway team, and a fair few accomplished performances by Terry Maher.
Oh dear, what an opening. Boy.
That could be one of those shots where I'll hit the target, I'll hit the pocket, but I forgot one thing, a little bit of fingers, and flat go those pins and leave the 8-10 in the back row.
Yes, a little bit wayward in the finger lifting department. And he'll be just going for one here, no point in playing heroics at this stage.
And one's covered fine, not a problem.
Actually, that's not a bad idea to go for that spare by trying to slam one of those 2 pins in the belly, because from time to time you see the pin jump back on the pin deck and take the other one out. So it's a good lesson for all the league bowlers out there. 150,000 league bowlers in Australia, Chris, in the Australian 10-pin bowling congress.
And of course we're seeing the cream of them here in the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic.
Solid strike that time for Terry, making the necessary compensation for that last ball and getting a beautiful strike.
Yes, he buried that one right in the hole. Around about the 11th or 12th board on the lane, straightened it up right in the pocket.
Ian Bradford, of course, the 1982 and 88 South Pacific Classic winner, runner-up in 84 in that tournament, 87 and 88 Brisbane Cups, the Canberra Cup in 88, 87 Melbourne Cup, and the Cool Foam Challenge Classic in 88, and also the Bowler of the Year last year.
That's a double for Ian Bradford. Great opening by him. And if he keeps on going all the way, he'll win a new car, a Samara Deluxe by Brock, from the Highway Auto Centre, Pacific Highway Springwood here in Brisbane.
Well, he's had enough experience with 300 games. I think he's had a total of 3 sanctioned 300s in his tournament career thus far.
I think I mentioned in the last match when he had 246 that one of them earned him a $41,000 car in the Singapore Championships in 85. Back with Bradford, looking for 3.
What a break.
Oh, what a beauty, Jeanette. You and I love to see those things go. We'll have another look at that one in replay, and we'll have a look at these pin reaction here. Exciting stuff.
The ball coming in very late, just the 10 and the 7, the last 2 pins to fall. He sends it out. It's almost on the edge of the channel there, right into the pocket. 5 pin, just still sitting on the deck.
Of course, we saw Ian do that in the first frame of his very first match, and he left the 7-10.
Terry going light that time. Leaving.
Yes, I think he's trying to place the ball, perhaps, rather than...
It's very hard, you know, with one-game matches. It's very hard to tell yourself just freewheel like I have been down there in practice. And still, you say, I need the strike. I've got to stay with Bradford. I've got to stay with him. I've got to get strikes. And yet, a little bit of muscle tension takes over. Well covered spare that time for Terry.
Yes, and Jeanette knows what she's talking about in that muscle relaxation, because she's the head of the ATBC Junior Coaching Development Program, and they do quite a lot of study on the muscle tone.
So does
All over France, people enjoy.
Thank heavens, he says, for the Brooklyn strike. Tugged it a little bit inside line, but still getting the desired result as we see the ball going down. Left-hand side, which is the Brooklyn side, and they all fell down.
Yes, we see it so often under pressure. The bowler usually pulls the ball left. It's a good thing to remember that when you're in a pressure situation yourself out in league play. All the people watching out there that join up in the centres around the country. Ian Bradford now looking for 4 in a row.
Will you believe that? He rode it. He knew as soon as it came out of his hand that he had a good chance for a strike. But of course, the 9-pin means, as we see the ball going through the pocket, it doesn't deflect. It just keeps going and takes out the 8-pin, and consequently the 9-pin's left on the lane. The ball is actually too strong as it hits the pocket.
Ian Bradford, unbelievable. Unbelievable. That ball was in the gutter about 35 feet down the lane on that first shot, and he was unlucky not to turn that into a strike. That pin ran along the back of the pit area and fell off just before it got to it.
He put together a 246 to beat the defending champion Tom Curry. That's the highest in the tournament so far. And Maher put together a 267. That was the top, his tops in the seeding. So let's see how he fares.
Would you believe a light pocket hit could leave a split like that? Unbelievable. Ian's really giving the ball heaps of room on that first shot. Right out on the edge of the gutter. Coming back. Unfortunately, the 4-pin tapping the 2-pin, but still leaving it there.
And what a great style there. Just a little bit off balance when he let it go. Perhaps that's why he didn't have the ball finish as strongly as he would have liked. He's going for the 1 pin only. Gives him a score in the 5th frame now of 106.
Just looking at it again, would you have gone for that, Jeanette, if you're a mile in front?
Well, one with a nudge, as the saying goes, plus Ian's using the left-hand side of the lane. He's using the area that's mainly dry, not trying to go across lane and therefore getting a bit of oil, using the area that's safest.
Terry Maher, a little bit of breathing space, a double to peg the lead back to about 20.
And there's one down. He's very pleased with that shot, Terry.
Yes, Terry from Newcastle, an accomplished bowler, 299 high game, been bowling for 20 years. He used to bowl in Wollongong, now at the Warrawong Centre. Now he plays up at Mayfield, Maitland and Bennett's Green in his home area. And he gets plenty of those in his league play there, where he averages 202.
One of the most accurate bowlers that we see around. Perhaps not the style, but very, very accurate.
Just getting his thumb set.
And there's the turkey, putting the pressure back on Bradford.
And I tell you what, we've got a new leader in the game. How about that? Amazing stuff here as Terry Maher gets a turkey with that strike.
It's marvellous what 3 strikes in a row can do to a scoreline.
Very high, but as we see the pin coming off the deck and just crashing between the 4 and the 7 pin, the reaction, yeah, I got it.
Oh boy, that ball took a big dive just as it got near the pins. I think Ian might have eased up a fraction.
Yeah, he didn't seem to have the speed on that ball. It starts coming in at about 37 feet and there's nowhere to go other than through the nose. Ooh, going going for it too.
So 6 frames down, and Ian Bradford up by 4 pins, but it's Terry Maher. Ian Bradford now. He's coming off an open frame, or a couple of open frames here, so he's letting this match slip a little.
Yes, well, if he strikes out, he can shoot 233, and that would be the aim of his exercise now in his mind. He's got his eyes closed, I would think, and just concentrating on making a good shot now. He's polished that ball up quite a lot. Where's that very restricting gadget on his wrist?
Soft 10, meaning the balls come in very late at the end, and the 6-pin just dives down into the gutter. As we see it out, left, leverage, coming back in the pocket, and the 6-pin dropping into the gutter and staying there, consequently leaving Ian with that single 10-pin spare to shoot.
And that with consummate ease, the ease of a man who's won 10 tournaments out of his last 27 starts in Australia. And if anyone can do that in 1989, they'll win the big prize off the AMF Super Circuit of tournaments. But we're back now with Terry Maher in a world of his own, looking for his 4th strike, and that will be a very big lead over the Australian champion.
Of course, Terry has spent a lot of money going to the States. He's wearing a cobra on his arm, leaving the thumb out. He's got a glove that actually has his thumb encased in leather. Whether that's protection.
Tell you what it is, it's another strike. 4 in a row for Terry Maher. The animated Terry Maher up against the Australian champion, pulling out all stops here at Capalaba.
Gets so much turn on that ball. Out on the lane, 5-pin. Goes out and takes a 7-pin, and Terry is jumping for joy.
He certainly is. We'll see it now as that 7-pin goes. Yes, he says. I'm in business. Looking for 5 strikes now. Be just about curtains for the Australian champion if he gets this one.
Just setting the thumb comfortably. Ready to make the shot.
Well, yes, he pulled it left, and they both wobbled. Pulled it left under pressure. He really wanted to put the match away. He knew if he got a strike then, that would be definitely curtains for the Aussie champion.
But there it goes, crossing onto the left-hand side, looking for the mix-up, and they just stay flat on the deck.
Tell you what that mix-up has done, though, Jeanette. It's moved the 2 pins closer. He's got a very small gap to get through there. It's made it a lot easier for him, so he needs to place the ball right between the 2 of these.
Ooh, just inside, not quite giving it enough room.
Gee, he didn't miss that by very much. He's 165 in the 8th frame following that open frame, and that's given Ian Bradford now another life. Have a look at the spare attempt conversion. It looked all right there, and then the ball just turned a squillionth and missed it by maybe an inch or 2. Ian Bradford, what must be going through this man's mind? Good shots, I would think.
He's a very tough competitor mentally, and Ian doesn't believe the game's over until the 10th frame. Very high, doesn't seem to be getting the drive that he was getting earlier on in the game, and consequently leaves that row of 3 pins on the right-hand side as we see the shot out towards the gutter, not quite hanging out long enough, and therefore snapping through the nose.
He's going to have to get this to stay in contention.
Covered it easily using the harder case ball and just driving it straight at the pins.
You know, the Goldpin centres up here, Chris, there's about 30 of them in the southeast Queensland area, and they've done a marvellous job promoting the sport of 10-pin bowling throughout Australia via this Channel 9 produced series, and we've had very, very good media coverage here this week in Brisbane. Ian Bradford now, top of the 9th for him. All the way for 210. Terry Maher bowling at a 225 pace. He needs this strike.
way inside line that time. Again, here we go. Nerves, pressure. It's amazing what can it make people do. And going Brooklyn that time, way inside the target.
Yes, didn't he look so good? He started out with 3 strikes in a row, all rippers. He ripped the 5, ripped the 5, ripped the 5, 3 shots in a row, and he's looked pretty ordinary the last couple of frames with the pressure of a grand final berth.
Ooh, unbelievable.
Well, that'll give the people at home quite a bit of heart, all the league bowlers who miss single pins and say, well, even the Australian champion can do it. When he least needed it too, well, he's going to have to hope for a miracle now, because Terry Maher is in the top of the 9th. And he's got it all before him. A strike here, a lead by 25 pins with just a frame to go.
Breaking up a very nasty split that time.
Yes, we can feel the tension up here. Jeanette and I having been bowlers, and Jeanette, of course, still a very good bowler. But it's tense stuff here in one of the final round matches of the men's division. Look at this pensive look, apprehensive. Thank you, says Terry Maher. He doesn't want to do anything foolish here. He needs to cover this pin and hit it right in the belly.
And a well-executed spare for Terry. Something right out of the copybook, aiming for the right-hand side of the pin, and therefore making sure of the spare. As we see the ball going down, right-hand side, using maximum width of the lane, width of the ball, and the pin, and there's the easy spare.
So 9 frames down, and Terry Maher is up by 17 pins. Terry Maher in the 10th frame, enjoying a healthy lead over Ian Bradford. Really needs to collect his thoughts here, Jeanette.
He'd be looking to make some good shots, and therefore, again, maintain that pressure on Ian, knowing that Ian's likely to come up with anything at any given time.
Dragged it left under pressure. Oh, what a terrible ball that was when he didn't need that. Oh, mate.
The look on his face says it all.
I feel so bad for Terry Maher. And have a look at it. Oh, he
way
pulled
inside. Way inside target, only just touching the head pin.
And I tell you, he was lucky to hit the head pin, because he's got a 5 count after the spare. That gives him 180 there. If he gets only 3 of these, Ian Bradford can strike out and tie the match. 4 to win.
Four pins only.
And that is just enough. 189 for Terry Maher from Newcastle, a 4-bagger in the middle of the game. The key to his success in this match, in which he's eliminated the Australian champion Ian Bradford. Best Bradford can do now following that result from Terry Maher is 188. And we had one other match in the Coca-Cola Classic this year, a pin the difference. And let's see if Ian can finish on a high note.
Going through the nose and leaving the 7 split.
Isn't it amazing, Ian Bradford? He had a 166, which was a pretty scrappy sort of a game. He won his match all the same against Ken Sheehan, and then he had 246, which could have been anything. And now another game in the 160, 170 odds.
Oh, gave it a shot too. Gave it his best shot.
So there it is, the final results. 167 for Ian Bradford, and Terry Maher gets a 189. So Ian Bradford is the loser. He finishes 4th in the 1988 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic, $1,200 to soothe the pain. And Terry Maher, he goes on to play the second Steve Lovell of Victoria. Our next match, though, is the ladies' final between